guys, what's going on? Just want to give my thoughts on Ashton Hagans declaring for the NBA draft. He just announced this on Instagram today, saying that he's ready to take the next step, and he's been waiting for this for his entire life. So basically, my initial thoughts on this are, I'm disappointed and I'm not very happy about what he ultimately decided here. A guy like Ashton Hagans, his freshman season to his sophomore season, he did improve in some areas. Points-wise, he averaged basically 7 points his freshman year and got that up to 11.5 points this season. Assists-wise, he really improved too. Last season, his freshman year, he averaged 4 assists per game and bumped that up to almost 7 assists per game this season. He had some great games this year, specifically in the beginning parts of the year, which is a point I wanted to make. The last 2 seasons he's been here, freshman and sophomore years, he started both seasons off really well. His freshman year, remember, he had a great game against North Carolina and also just played really well for the beginning parts of the season. But then as we got farther along the season to tournament play, I'd say probably from February on, both years, freshman and sophomore, he really started to struggle. He struggled last March, specifically in his freshman year. Then this year, I'd say as soon as we got into February, he really started to go downhill in a lot of areas, specifically turnovers. Freshman year, he averaged basically 2 turnovers per game. That number doubled, almost doubled this season, and he averaged 3.4 turnovers per game this year in his sophomore season. That's a number that you really can't ignore, and we were all seeing it. There were plays he was making that were very questionable plays. One thing that was consistent, though, on a positive note, was his defense. His defense was always really good. He would take chances. That's what he does on defense. He takes a lot of chances, gambles a lot, and it pays off a lot of times, and it did for a lot of plays the last 2 years. Specifically this season, he had some really good games he had a 26-point performance against Utah Valley. He also scored 21 against Georgia Tech, the game that I was at, actually. He always played really well against his hometown Georgia team. He scored, like, I think it was like 23 points or something against Georgia at Rupp. As an NBA draft pick, looks like I'm a little bit off on that. I thought from the projections I was seeing, he's basically somewhere around mid to late second round. With the way things are right now in society, with not knowing what sports are going to be, we don't even know if there's even going to be an NBA combine, like when the draft's going to be, how it's going to work. Something that just broke yesterday was NBA, they're going to do a 50% pay cut. 50%. If that's affecting the upper players, that's without a doubt going to affect the bottom players, specifically G League and guys that aren't getting the same kind of contracts that a lottery pick would get. The 2 mock drafts that I'm looking at right now is he's at 39th on one mock draft and then 44th for another mock draft. Those numbers, I can see how, obviously I see how he entered the draft. He sees those numbers and I think he probably is happy with where he just wants to get to the pros. I can understand for a guy that wants to go pro, but for a guy like Ashton Hagans, I really think if he stuck around for his junior season and really focused on cutting down the turnovers, shooting a better clip, specifically from 3-point range, and being more consistent from the free throw line. I know he shot better from there this season a little bit overall, but towards the end of the year, he was not making many free throws like he should. He would always go 1 out of 2. 3-point range was the same thing. He was not hitting threes very consistent at all. Really all season, but specifically later in the season. And I really think if a guy like Ashton Hagans came back for another season, put together a complete season from November to March all the way through, I really think he could really honestly bump himself up to maybe not in the lottery range 1 through 14, but at least I think he could bump himself into first round territory. Seriously though, I think Ashton Hagans has the ability to be a lottery pick if he put it all together. But he obviously made the decision to go pro. I will state an obvious fact here. I did not like how the season ended with him. He did not have a good performance against Tennessee mentally wise, being a bad teammate and doing some stuff that I didn't see live, but it did happen from what you hear and what you see on replays. Then obviously skipping the game at Florida. I know he was coming back and he was gonna play in March if there was a tournament and it didn't get cut short, but this is just how the season ended, and this is the kind of taste that we have left in our mouth after this season with him. So overall, I think it's just kind of a messy situation with that, and as much as I want to see guys come back, I wish him the best of luck. I hope everything goes well for him. I hope he gets picked, and I hope he has a great career. I mean, he's Big Blue Nation family. I'm not going to forget about him. So I'm disappointed in the decision. I wish he would have came back. I haven't seen that he's signed with an agent yet, so there's still a window of possibility that he could come back, but if you're asking my opinion, I think he's gone. Just disappointing. He gave us a lot of good moments throughout the seasons here. He had a great moment against Lowell I'm going to show right now, and yeah, hope the best for him, and I'll keep you guys updated with player decisions here coming up soon. There's a lot of decisions to be made here. Hopefully I'll be giving more positive updates as we move on here. A lot of videos to come, but yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Go Big Blue.
Why aren't we utilizing Gilchrist and Lamb right now? Gilchrist, move! Post him up!